And welcome back to the channel. I said I was going to be back with another video, and here I am back with another video because I saw this earlier today. It was posted on December 2nd. Shout out to Up TV. They usually have good documentaries, things like that, exposing these occult Illuminati, New World Order, all the stupid names that go along with these so-called conspiracy theories when it's just clearly just Agenda 2030, UN agenda, globalism. That's all it comes down to. One global government, one global control, one global currency, whatever. But definitely shout out to YouTube, Up TV. I highly suggest you go watch I think it's a 10-minute breakdown. Now to look at the trailer, Songbird movie. This shit is wild. This is insane. It says it's on demand everywhere December 11th. I'm gonna watch it because this is a clear propaganda movie. As you can see, this is a little picture of a quarantine camp. Find out that's what it is. A quarantine camp. We'll go to an article from USA Today. So this movie actually came out, it was the trailer first released back in October. It says Michael Bay's dystopian COVID-19 thriller Songbird criticized as being completely out of touch. You really think this is the time to make a movie like this? It's funny because I was just talking to a friend the other day, and I was talking about how I feel like I'm living in a dystopian sci-fi movie. And even back in March when we had, the 15 days to stop the spread, flatten the curve, you remember those things they used to tell us? Even back then I was like, kind of feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie. I think that's when like Outbreak and some other movies on Netflix all of a sudden just got a huge uptick in streams because people were watching that stuff. Hey, everybody's going back in time trying to find clues. This. Oh my God, I don't even understand how absurd this is. The article basically kind of talks about how this is just not right to have this movie because people are dying. Why? How dare they profit off of this? But see how they try to spin it in this article? It says Bay's film Songbird takes place in 2024, where COVID-19 has mutated to COVID-23. And the world is in its fourth year lockdown. The trailer shows images of notable places in the U.S., including the Santa Monica Pier, nearly deserted, now mostly occupied by soldiers in armored vehicles, ready to shoot civilians who violate lockdown orders. Gonna put a bullet in you, two to the chest, one to the head. Oh man. The U.S. death toll in the movie's setting has reached over 8 million for the year alone, while the worldwide coronavirus death toll is now over 110 million. But see, this is insulting your intelligence because they act like you can't look up the CDC death statistics as far as deaths or what certain diseases are, even car accidents, homicide, things like that. The death tolls for those numbers. So don't even try to put anything into context because it's all about the fear mongering, the doom and gloom. The world is coming to a fucking end. That's what's going on. Because they need you to be afraid. They need all of us to be afraid. And I have no shame admitting to it that I've been brainwashed my whole life, that I fell for these things. And even starting back in like 2006, 2007, even before when I was a kid, I was always trying to figure out some things. And even then I wasn't thinking I was being brainwashed. I was like, oh man, did y'all know this? Like, oh man, this is cool. Like I'm thinking, so many new technologies and so many new discoveries as far as knowledge and information is being known. Like this is great. Not realizing that, no dumbass, you're falling for the plan. You're falling for it. And I'm calling myself a dumbass. It's not an attack on anybody. And I always want to try to make sure I get that point across because if I come off as attacking someone, you will completely dismiss the information. And that's the thing. Whether you agree or not, don't just immediately dismiss the information. Just take it as is. Information. That's it. You don't have to agree. You don't have to think I'm right, wrong, none of that stuff. Just take the information and store it and hold on to it. Because if you do that, you'll start to notice a pattern over the months, years. Actually, the Agenda 2030, they got 10 years. They're ramping this shit up. Like, oh man, hey, it's crunch time now. Let's start throwing it all out there. No longer are we hiding our plans, because this article completely is tone deaf in itself. But go back to the point I was just trying to make. 8 million for the year alone. Put that into context. What other things caused that many millions of deaths alone in the United States? And then it says the worldwide coronavirus death toll is now over 110 million. So I guess it's saying 4 years later. Quick math, that comes to about 2.75% of deaths each year that contribute to COVID-19, COVID-23, coronavirus, whatever. Is that actually a lot? Is that something to be afraid of? These are just simple questions. It says the trailer was deemed tone deaf by many on Twitter who thought it was bad timing to make a movie about a deadly pandemic when we're still in the middle of a current pandemic. Right? They keep telling you, oh, we're in a pandemic. But don't worry. We'll make a movie in the middle of a pandemic about the pandemic that which you're in. You mean a reality documentary? A reality TV show? What? But it's a movie. So it's a movie, but it's labeled as sci-fi. To go back to, look at that. On the description, scroll all the way down. Genre, sci-fi thriller. Way better highlighting job. Props. Sci-fi thriller. Sci-fi thriller. But it's a movie about a pandemic in the middle of a pandemic. So is it sci-fi thriller? Is it science fiction? Is it nonfiction? Is it future plans? Right? Is the movie designed to tell you what's going to happen? Is the movie designed to incite fear into you? Why is this movie coming out around the same time that vaccines are coming out? No good way to scare people into taking the vaccine like releasing the fucking movie. That's basically telling you, hey, if you don't take this vaccine and we don't control these things, and we don't, all of a sudden feel like we're godly and we can stop a virus, if we don't do the things that are necessary, guess what? You're going to be in this world in 4 years. Lockdown, quarantine, shot on site. Man, you're going, where's my papers? Where's your papers? You can't go nowhere. Somebody tweeted, one person on Twitter. There you go. Making a dystopian horror movie about a horror that is real and happening right now is so tone deaf and so not what people need. So many people have lost jobs, livelihoods, and loved ones due to COVID, and everyone's life has been severely affected. Bad move. Tweeted at Scallywap. Scallywap? Wap? I'm probably saying wap because of that stupid ass song. Pretty much, people were talking about, how dare you profit off of this? It says, this feels wrong. I can't articulate how I feel honestly, but if feels like they are trying to benefit financially from the hell that is the pandemic. Having lost family members, yes, unfortunately plural, to COVID, I only hope there is humanity and hope found in the film. I'm so confused by that. Why the fuck would you hope there's humanity and hope found in the film? Why are you looking towards a film for hope? You probably should look towards the rest of your family members for hope. You probably should look for something else for hope. Hell, now might be the time to, I don't know, find a higher power, find some spirituality. Once again, just because I'm saying this does not mean I'm criticizing this person or a direct personal attack or anything like that. I'm just asking a question. In this day and age, it's like if you ask a question or you just don't necessarily agree with something or you just want to speak about something, it's funny, everybody can have an opinion, but only if it's the right opinion. But opinions ain't necessarily right or wrong, just what you think at the time. For some people, what you feel. what religious belief you have, what spirituality belief you have, whatever the case may be. So this is not an attack at Dark Nightmare 93. Man, that's not a good name to have. That is not a good name to have. Is this a hyperlink? I'm not going to go to this person's Twitter page. Actually, no, I'm not going to. Oh, man, I'm so tempted. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. I just don't want to. But Dark Nightmare. And you're talking about finding hope in a film. Maybe you should change his name to Hopeful Reality. I don't know. This is something, man. Whatever. Okay, that's besides the point. So pretty much this article was kind of pointing out how people were saying that you shouldn't be making a movie like this, during a time of this nature. But no one's really comprehending the fact that, at least how much this article portrays, they made sure to take the perspective of, we probably shouldn't put out this movie, it's insensitive. They're not taking the obvious perspective of, how dare you put out a movie like this, try to incite fear into people, and how dare you basically trying to show us your plans, this globalist plan. This shot in the movie looks like District 9. If you ever seen that movie, District 9, any sci-fi dystopian thriller is always the same. Lockdowns, concentration camps, quarantine camps. You can't go nowhere. You can't do anything. You can't talk to nobody. Lord forbid if you happen to speak out loud. Lord forbid if you happen to get sick. I highly suggest you go watch the trailer. Like I said, I'm going to watch the movie because to me, this is homework. This is okay. You showing me your plans. What you got planned? I mean, I made my little comment, but I was really happy to see in the comment section that more and more people around the world are just like, no. Stop with the bullshit. We see this shit. We're calling this out. We're exposing these fake things. One person said, so this isn't sus to anyone else? King Akira. Neil McCoy Ward said, more conditioning because we're all stupid, of course. Exactly. They think we're this stupid. And not stupid in the sense of education, but stupid in the sense of they think we can't see the obvious. They think that we really are so distracted that we're not paying that no attention, that we can't see that you're trying to sell us something. Like you're trying to tell us what your plan is. And some people will say that, it's the elitists, the Illuminati. They do the hermetic laws and stuff, and it's something about free will, so they gotta make sure they show it to you first. They gotta tell you what they're doing in order to do it. Actually, it's part of the universal law, the only main law, the law of mentalism, the law of the mind, where your mind, your consciousness creates reality. They're trying to put it out there to shape reality. They're literally trying to shape reality. Hey, and by now you're probably going to cut the video off because you're like, man, fuck this guy. He's crazy. I don't care. You can call me crazy all you want to. Go back in time, because these people also clearly think that we forget things. You can call them elitists. You can call them bankers, Rockefellers, Rothschilds. You can call them whatever you want to call them. There clearly is a distinct group of people that want to have complete control over the whole world and the human population and of humanity in general. And it's been like this for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They're now showing us their agenda. Hell, they have the UN on their own website. If you check out some of my other videos and even check out my podcast, I talk about these things. Other people talk about these things. Agenda 2030. 17 goals of what they plan to do. And then they're showing you the plan of basically, hey, if you guys don't do what we tell you to do, this is what is going to happen. And not, we got to make sure we take the vaccine because if not, this is what's going to happen. No, they're trying to tell you, no, we plan on doing this shit right here. Because we're going to ramp up the fear machine and we're going to ramp up the propaganda machine more and more and more. But here's the thing. They have no control. That's why it's predictive programming. That's why it's conditioning. They want you to accept these things. They're trying to shape your own reality to accept these things. because they know they have no control over you. You have to give up your own free will. You have to give up consent in order to allow this to happen. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I pray this shit never does happen and we never come close to it. I pray the whole world wakes up and says, no, fuck what you're doing, what you're trying to say. We're no longer accepting this stuff. There has to be another way, because they don't ever talk about different options. They don't ever talk about taking care of yourself. They don't ever talk about dieting, exercise, vitamins, nutrition. They never talk about these things. It's always doom and gloom. Take this shot, you'll be better. Even though this vaccine that we're giving you probably don't work that well. But whatever, go ahead, put it in your arm anyways. Hey, to each their own. I'm not an anti-vaxxer necessarily, but once again, I got some questions, man. What are you doing? What are you putting into these things? I just got some simple questions. Leonie Cruz, Kurz, said the comment section gives me hope. People are awake and seeing clearly. I definitely had to like that one. One YouTuber said quarantine camps, quote unquote quarantine camps. And then he said they aren't even trying to hold back their heavy-handed symbolism. Nah. No. They're like this flat out like, you know what? Like I said, they're ramping it up. Like we're not even going to try to hide it into films or do it in a certain way. Nah, we're letting you know. COVID-19, COVID-24. 2024. 2024. These people have a plan. Go in the past. Go look up past documentaries. Go look up things and follow the patterns. There's a distinct pattern going on. One commenter, Bobbert, said this would be like releasing a 9/11 movie between the planes hitting and the towers collapsing. That sums it up perfectly, in my opinion. Like that literally sums it up perfectly. Exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing. This is like the most real-time shit ever. But the most obvious question about this film is that if there were lockdowns and restrictions earlier on in the year, and actually still going on, depending on what county, city, state you're in, when the fuck do you have time to, I don't know, make a movie? You're making a movie about what's going on, so you violate your own laws, your own restrictions, and your own guidelines to make a movie about the dangers of COVID-19. You risk people's lives, right? Because that's what we're talking about here, right? You risk people getting sick in order to make a movie that is trying to show you what the future may be like. Is that not a good use of money? Should that even be allowed? I guess Governor Newsom is okay with that, right? Because he said Hollywood can still keep recording. They can still have their jobs. We don't want to hurt the film industry. So let's take a look at Wikipedia, because they're such a great source. But I'm just using it just so let's be honest, it's easy to read, and crazy enough, it's the only place without ads. That's not by design. So it says Songbird is an upcoming American science fiction thriller film based on an ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So ongoing, we're just gonna throw a fucking movie in the middle of it. It's scheduled to release through PVOD, which never heard that term before, but that's basically video on demand. The premise of the movie: by 2024, COVID-19 has mutated, and the world is in its fourth year, in its fourth pandemic year. In the United States, people infected with the virus are taken from their homes against their will and forced into quarantine camps, also known as Q zones, or concentration camps, where some fight back against the brutal restrictions. I'm sorry, I'm reading this and my mind is like wow. Like I said, they're not even hiding no more. This is like the most absurd, abrupt, in your fucking face, bullshit ass movie ever. And of course, Michael Bay produced it. Notice with Michael Bay movies too, with Transformers, he always had the Air Force in there. So Space Force is just an extension of Air Force Space Command. Space meaning obviously space above our atmosphere, or what we think is space, who knows what it actually is, and cyberspace. Michael Bay films are one of the rare movies to actually have authentic uniforms in it. Of course, me being a vet, so I know what authentic uniforms look like, 'cause I still got them. But I'm just throwing that out there, just something to think about. To continue, it says, in these camps, the infected are left to die or forcibly get better. What? What? Forcefully get better? Nico, a motorbike courier with immunity due to the fact he was infected with the virus, is in a relationship with Sarah, a young artist whose lockdown prohibits them from physical contact. When Sarah is believed to have become infected, Nico races across the empty streets of Los Angeles in an attempt to save her. Here you go. Your hero scenario, your love scenario. You'll get locked up in this love story, and you won't see all the blatant propaganda in the film itself. Blatant propaganda in the film itself. So, something that stood out to me while just reading that, it says he's immune due to the fact he was infected with the virus. So I thought immunity wasn't a thing, right? Then they said herd immunity wasn't a thing. Sweden and stuff, herd immunity is not a thing. Then they laugh at Trump when he said, "Oh, I could be possibly immune since I had the virus." How come no one else in this movie that has the virus doesn't become immune? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? How come the people that are infected in the concentration camps, quarantine zones, quarantine camps, if they get better, are they not immune? I mean, is this Resident Evil where one person gets the direct form strain of the virus? Well, I guess the virus mutated, right? So in that case, so everyone that has gotten the virus this year, are they not immune? Are they only immune to a certain strain, but the strain is mutated? So if the strain is mutated, why is he still immune? Is the movie going to answer these questions? Are you even going to think about these questions while you're watching the movie? Or are you just going to be like, oh, one of these plot holes? No, it's not plot holes. It's lazy writing, for one, if that's the case. And two, actually, let's be honest, it's by design. It's flat out by design. I can't wait to watch this movie because I'm going to pick this shit apart, and I want to do a breakdown. I don't know if I'm going to just do it on my podcast or because I might, because it might be longer. And I try to keep these YouTube videos, try to be at least like somewhere 20 minutes because I know people's attention span, ain't that fucking long. So I don't know. I don't know. I probably will just do a podcast. So I say that, but I really need to, I'm going to have to take notes while I watch this. Oh yeah, this is definitely a rental. You don't get it twisted. I ain't finna buy this shit. I probably should buy it just to hold on to it because this is a national treasure. This is what they actually think of us. This is absurd. It's insane. It's a fucking joke. I'm trying to see. Usually on the right over here and stuff, they'll try to say where it's filmed at. Cause I really want to know where this is filmed at. I guess I could just look at production, right? Or the thing that says filming. Genius, read. It says principal production commenced on July 8, 2020 in Los Angeles. Filming was initially halted by Sage, I think that's the Screen Actors Guild, correct? It says who granted the production permission to proceed a day later. The film wrapped up on August 3rd, 20. Get the fuck out of here. It was the first film to shoot in Los Angeles during the lockdown due to COVID-19 restrictions. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. They shot a movie in the middle of a pandemic while everyone else is going through restrictions and lockdown in Los Angeles, in California. They felt it was necessary to shoot a movie about COVID-19 instead of abiding by their own restrictions. It says the production adhered to safety protocols, including regular testing, a maximum crew size of 40 per day, and keeping actors separated, except while they're filming. This bullshit. I am so done, man. I am so done. I am so done. So basically, they could have been released the movie, but I was you can if you can see this if you're watching or if you're just listening. It just says it's gonna release. It was in August 2020. XTX Entertainment acquired distribution rights to the film, and now it's scheduled to be released video on demand December 11th, and then a major followed by release on a major streaming service provider in 2021. They want you to know this is coming. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, man! Come on, man! They're gonna why? Yeah, you really have to ask yourself why. If this is just about making money, and no matter what perspective you take, it's fucked up. No matter what perspective you take, it's wrong. And I don't like to even say right or wrong things, but like, man, this is just not something you should do. No matter what perspective you take, how you look at it, this is something that you should not do. As far as production, I guess I skipped right over because I'm like, it makes me laugh so much. It says on March 13, 2020, Adam Mason is the director. Adam Mason received a call from Simon Boys, so Adam Mason is the director, but Adam Mason and Simon Boys, there's no hyperlink for their Wikipedia page. They wrote the film. I'm sure they wrote it. I'm 100% sure they wrote it. Yep, I'm so sure they wrote it. They wrote it without no help from nobody else. No government influence, nobody else. Nothing to do with no pharmaceutical companies, no influence, nobody else, just them. And Michael Bay produced it, and a bunch of other people produced it. Not the people who wrote the film, not the people that directed the film. But continue on where I left off. It says, Adam Mason received a call from Simon Bays, who had an idea for a film based on the COVID-19 pandemic. For real. And once again, this is on Wikipedia, so obviously check the sources, things of that nature. This source is from Entertainment Weekly. Oh, you know what? I got a great idea. Let's make a movie. I'm sure at some point in time, somebody around you have heard someone say, oh man, watch, they're going to make a movie about this. We all knew they were going to make a movie about this because they make a movie about everything. But they never do it in real time. 9/11, they make a movie. A couple years later. Benghazi attack, they make a movie. Even Lone Survivor is something based on something from the 90s. Lone Survivor is something you hear in military training. The story about that. They always want to make these movies. Now we are literally watching them make a movie in real time because they're ramping up the propaganda machine. They have to reach their goal by 2030. So we're going to constantly be hit. This is informational warfare. That's all this is. It says the pair spent the following weekend plotting out the film. I can't. Plotting out the film? What you do? Watch the fucking news? Like, come on, man. What are you talking about here? What are you talking about? Yeah, they created this great idea. It says pitching their idea to producer Adam Goodman near the end of March. So while we're on lockdown, these motherfuckers is coming up with a movie. They're writing a movie. On May 19, 2020, it was reported that Michael Bay Goodman and Eben Davidson would produce a film about the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So, are they gonna make a sequel? Because I feel like they're trying to start a franchise. Like, are they gonna make a sequel? And I think we watched the trailer. Is some of the producers are I don't know if it's the producers or the writers. They also did The Quiet Place, which they made a sequel of, and The Purge, which they made sequels and TV series of. So these are the same producers and are writers of those films on this one. What does that tell you? Propaganda. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. I can't believe they sat here and filmed a movie this year. They filmed it so fast. They wrote it so quick. Production ended so fast. Meanwhile, people can't go to work. People can't open up their hair salons. I just did a video the other day about lockdown. Somebody commented on that. I'm like, hey, I should go back and tell them, like, well, don't worry, it's all good, because clearly you can have a movie, film a movie, write a movie, produce a movie in the middle of a lockdown, in the middle of a pandemic, while people are dying. Correct? They want you to worry about the death numbers in the movie. Meanwhile, they risk their lives to what? Make a movie? Are these people heroes now? It says the cast were remotely trained in preparation for the shoot. Trained how? Trained how? Oh man, you just gotta see what's going on, man. If you're afraid of social peer pressure or someone calling you crazy, I mean, what more evidence do you need? This film is so blatantly disrespectful to our own intelligence, to our own conscious awareness. It's just flat out disrespectful. This is something that should not happen. This is something that should not be allowed. Like I say, I want to watch the movie because I know it's their plan and I want to see what's going on in it, and I want to dissect it and see all the propaganda messages and the subliminal messages and stuff. Hell, it's not even subliminal no more. Because to be honest, this is not subliminal at all. But part of me also doesn't want to give my money to it. Like I said, man, people can say whatever they want to say about me or you if you want to speak out or if you have a simple question. But if we're not questioning these things, is what I always tell my kids. If you're not questioning the stuff that's going on, man, you'll just allow yourself to be rolled over, to be streamrolled, to be led astray, led off a cliff, basically. Because these are simple questions. Why do these people get paid and work to make a movie? We don't need the film industry right now. If local businesses are being shut down and stuff, is this the thing we need? Is this the last thing we need? Is a goddamn movie. We don't need this. We don't need a movie to tell us what the fuck we're living through, man. Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on. We don't need a movie to tell us what is going on. Oh man. Everyone just pay attention, man. Just pay attention. Pay attention to the articles you read. Pay attention to the things that these politicians, president, government, all these people, pay attention to everything they say. Dissect the information that they provide. Really actually pay attention. Because if not, we'll have shit like this going on. So until next time,